let's get a move on then and bring on board our next technical guest. We've got Nirav Chheda of Nirmal Bang Securities as well joining in on the show. Nirav, let's start off with your first recommendation. Then you're looking at the stock of Lauris Labs. What does the charts indicate?
So I get a lot of questions on this stock. This stock has come down from about 600 odd to about 300 in about 3-4 months. Continuously a lower top, lower bottom formation was taking shape. But a good base kind of a formation is made. High volumes are seen at the lower levels, and there has been a reversal. For the first time, the previous week's high has been broken after a long time. So I believe this stock is now headed higher. It can come up towards that 355, 365 odd levels. So look to buy the stock at current levels. You can keep a stop loss of around 296 for your long, and that target of around 360 odd should come.
Buy call coming in on Lauris Labs from Nirav. Let's move on and let's talk about Havells. That particular stock hit a 2-week high in today's trading session. They've introduced a solid-state circuit breaker technology in association with Swedish tech startup Blixt. With this launch, the company's position as a leading switchgear company in India will be strengthened, is what Havells had to say. They've also said the collaboration with the company will help in reaching a huge market in rapid transition. This is what Blixt had to say in response to this sort of an association. So on back of this particular development, you had the stock that was trading higher by approximately 2%, but now it's given up some of these gains, holding on to gains of about 0.5% as we speak.
Okay, let's get a move on. And Ashesha's not the only one hogging the metal stocks. I've got one on my list too, and that's Vedanta. Not just the Hindustan Zinc news, but the company is also in the spotlight as they have reported their aluminium and high refined metal production, saying that it has touched record levels in the last financial year. In fact, the company has said that they've posted the highest ever aluminium production at 22.9 lakh tons. That's marginally higher from the 22.6 lakh tons just last year. The high refined metal production has risen 7% to 10.3 lakh tons, and they've produced 9.6 lakh tons of saleable metals, which includes refined zinc, refined lead, and refined silver integrated as well. They've also said that the refined metal production is at a historic in gas business. The gross operated production across assets has been about 1.45 lakh barrels of oil per equivalent day. And they've said that the Rajasthan block as well, there has been a natural decline which has been partially offset by the infill wells that has been brought online across all the assets.
All right, that is Vedanta for you. But let's move on, and Nirav, let's talk about NOSL. And this is not the first time that you will be talking about this particular account. Over the last 1 month, has your view changed on NOSL? Because if you look at the stock, it's done absolutely nothing over the last 1 year. In fact, we have negative returns coming in for this one.
Yeah, so this was one of the few stocks which are the favorites of the markets. Almost everyone owned it because there was this chemical thing going on. But most like the other chemical stock, this stock has come down from about 280 odd. And in the last 1 month, you rightly said, it's done nothing. But what it really did was it made a good base. Around that 205, 200 odd levels. A very good base has been formed in this particular stock. The good volumes have gone in the last couple of days. I believe it's a good reversal that the stock is seeing. There is a slight resistance around the 216 odd levels, which is the 50-day moving average. Once that is broken, you will see some good buying coming in, which can take the stock higher towards that 245 to 50 odd level. So that should be the target. Buy for that target with once that breakout comes in about 216, and your stop loss should be around 205.
Okay, there you have it. That's NOSL for you. Moving away from that, let's pull up a mid-cap IT name. And Ashesha, why is KPIT Tech in the news today?
KPIT Tech is in focus for second consecutive session. In Monday's trading session, it was down nearly 12%. Today, at one point in time, it was down nearly 7%. It has recovered sharply from the lowest point of the day, now holding on to marginal gains of 0.5%. On Monday, we had a very interesting note on KPIT Tech from JP Morgan, where they initiated coverage with an underweight rating, and they've given a target price of 520 rupees per share. They say EBIT margins are structurally lower as compared to its peers. There's no portfolio diversification for KPIT Tech. In fact, the company also has high client concentration. About 25 top customers contribute 84% of their total revenue. Valuations, they believe, are pretty expensive at about 50 times forward PE. So on the back of this note that came in, the stock was in focus on Monday's trading session, and today also it continues to be in focus.
All right, that's KPIT Tech has sharp recovery coming in on that particular counter from the day's lowest point, but had been under pressure on back of the JP Morgan report. Vamakshi, coming to you, HDFC Bank, why is this in the spotlight?
Well, this counter is in the spotlight on the back of its Q4 provisional update. Well, definitely we're seeing that the deposit growth that has come in from HDFC Bank has completely stolen the show. Deposits stand at 18.83 lakh crores, with rising almost 21% on a year-on-year basis and up nearly 9% on a sequential basis. In Q4 alone, we saw that the deposits grew by 1.5 lakh crores, and in the entire year, that is FY23, we saw deposits rise by nearly 3.3 lakh crore. Retail deposits grew by 23.5% on a year-on-year basis, while wholesale deposits grew by nearly 10%. The bank also happened to open nearly 1,460 branches in the whole year. When we look at the advances, that has also risen by nearly 17% on a year-on-year basis, up 6% quarter-on-quarter. And in fact, advances also grew by nearly 93,000 crores in a single quarter. When we look at CRB and retail loans, they were actually leading the growth in advances. So overall, when we look at the update that has come in from HDFC Bank, it looks like quite a strong update that has come in, and that is the reason why this counter is gaining in trade today, up nearly 2.5% as we speak.
Okay, there you have it. The stock is trending in today's session on the back of fundamentals. But what about technicals, Nirav? How does the stock look?
More in line with the fundamentals, the update that the stock gave a couple of days back. It was moving in a channel formation, a downward sloping channel formation, where it broke out above the 1605 odd levels today, and post that you are seeing some very good buying that has come in. Also, it has broken out above 50-day moving average. I believe this stock is now headed higher towards that 1750, 1800 odd level. Look to buy the stock at current levels, good open interest and volumes also seen. Your stop loss should be around 1600, and your possible target would be around 1750, 1800.
That's a view coming in on HDFC Bank. But before we proceed to the next stock, let's take a look at what the rupee is doing at this point in time, because rupee has gained past that 82 to the dollar mark. If you look at the rupee right now, it is at the day's highest point. It is 81.96 as we speak. The only reason why you can see it has a red arrow because we are showing you the dollar to rupee chart. But if you look at the rupee, it has strengthened against the dollar. Remember, the dollar index also has fallen below the 102 level. So we are bound to see that sort of effect trickle down on the Indian rupee as well. So we've strengthened right now. We have gained past the 82 to the dollar mark. But let's talk about the next stock that is also seeing good strength in today's trading session, and that is Westlife Food. If you look at the stock, at one point in time, it had gained excess of about 3%, hitting a highest level in about 2 weeks since March 20th. The reason why such a rise coming in on Westlife Food is the fact that ICICI Securities has maintained an ad stance on the company with a target of 790 rupees per share, which implied an upside of about 14.5% to the close of around 690 rupees per share. That was the Monday close coming in for Westlife. What they're saying is a focus on meal segment, which has 2.5 times the market size of snacks, omni-channel strategy to improve consumer experience across the touch points, as well as network expansion and margin expansion all goes well for Westlife Food. This is what ICICI Securities had to mention in the note. They also said that the company's growth and position in the market is due to the great executive over the last 8 years. They're also saying the long-term benefits for the company from expansion of India's food service market remains intact, and therefore they are bullish on this particular company, setting a target of around 790 rupees per share. That's Westlife for you, trading with gains of about 2% as we speak.
All right, let's get a move on then and focus in on Suryoday Small Finance Bank. But before we do that, sorry Nirav, let's discuss your stock, and that's AU Small Finance. So what's the charts indicating? Do you believe that it merits a buy at the price currently?
So it is one of the few stocks which withstanded the whole fall that Nifty's seen. But I've got bad news because post this correction in Nifty, where Nifty is looking to move up, this stock is actually breaking important levels. This stock has broken below that 600 levels, which was a very strong support area. It was moving in a higher top, higher bottom formation, and now the previous bottom has also been violated. It has come down below that. So I believe the stock will now witness some correction. It should be a sizable correction in the short to medium term. So if you're holding longs in this stock, look to exit it at current levels, and it can come down towards that 450, 400 odd levels. Make a good base, take about 2-3 months, and then probably some bounce can come in. Until then, don't look to enter the stock at this point of time.
Important and critical levels before which you should not look at an entry into the stock of AU Small. Moving right on then, it's Suryoday Small Finance Bank. That's the one that I'm tracking, and that's largely on the back of their latest updates that the company has shared for FY23. They said that the disbursement growth has been healthy, which is up 44% on year to come in at 5,085 crore rupees. The total deposits stand at 5,165 crores. That also on a year-on-year basis has seen a jump of about 34%. So fairly decent when it comes to Suryoday Small Finance Bank. And if you just look at the charts as well, over the last few days, there has been a pretty decent move in Suryoday Small Finance as the stock has inched up from those 92 levels past the 101 mark in the last 5 trading days.
All right, that's Suryoday Small Finance Bank for you, which has been picking up steam over the past 5 trading sessions. But there's one stock that has seen actually no steam picking up. That is Apollo Hospitals, Nirav. Where do you see this one headed from here on? Do you think that the charts are indicating a brighter future, or you see this one actually consolidated, or some more downward pressure for it?
Yeah, so what is interesting is the stocks which were actually up when Nifty was coming down, these stocks are now witnessing selling, and they are losing steam. They are breaking important levels. So similarly, the overall structure for Apollo Hospitals doesn't look that great. Also, it has come down below 40 to 50 odd levels, which was a support area. So it is now below important levels. It can come down further, at least up to the 3700 to 3600 odd levels. So if you're holding long, this is a good time to exit this counter and wait for some downside up till that 3700 odd levels. Once that comes in, that is when you'll look to buy again.
Then and from the hospital space to FMCG and discuss Ashesha Marico.
Counter is in focus on the back of operational updates for the quarter gone by. As far as consolidated revenue is concerned, it is expected to see growth in low single digits in the fourth quarter on a year-on-year basis. As far as segment-wise performance is concerned, India business witnessed some improvement on a year-on-year basis as far as volume growth is concerned. Meanwhile, international business maintained its stellar growth trajectory as it posted mid-teen constant currency growth. As far as margins are concerned, management is expecting some improvement over here as well. As a result of moderating raw material basket and improving portfolio mix, gross margins, they believe, are expected to expand and drive reasonable growth in operating profit in the fourth quarter on a quarter-on-quarter basis. So on account of good operational update that has come in from Marico, the stock is holding up 0.4% higher in trade for Marico.
Right. Let's talk about Godrej Properties, Nirav. Realty space has actually been a spot of bother of late, and in that you have Godrej Properties that has only been giving negative returns. Where do you see Godrej Properties headed from here on? Some more downside pressure?
No, actually, I think it has completed, the whole downward cycle. If you see in the last 2-3 months, the pace at which it was coming down, that has, reduced, and which is a good sign. I believe this stock is now headed higher. It is in that formation of making a base. So look to add positions here, but from a medium-term perspective, this stock can again bounce up towards that 1250-1300 levels, and it might take about a month or so to do that, but it's worth buying at current levels. The risk reward looks less, so buy at current levels with a stop loss of around 1010, and that 1250-1300 target will come in.
Right, watch out for that on Godrej Properties. Let's move right on then, Vamakshi, and discuss NBCC in detail.
This counter is in focus on the back of an order win that the company reported. The company has won an order worth 448 crores, and this is for construction of the border road. Now, since March, when we look at the company's, it has actually won orders worth nearly 3,000 crores, and it has actually reported a turnover of 7,700 crores back in FY22, and the Q3 revenue was at 2,100 crores. Now, new orders, when we look at it on as compared to the revenue, stand at nearly 5% of the FY22 revenue and 25% of the Q3 revenue. Apart from that, the company has a very strong order pipeline, and in fact, in the last 6 months itself, the stock has surged by nearly 16% on the back of a slew of order wins that NBCC has been reporting. So, given the order win of 448 crores currently, the stock is in focus, trading higher by nearly 4% as we trade.
There you have it, NBCC in the spotlight. Meantime, let's discuss the charts, Nirav, of Bosch. What exactly are the technical trends indicating?
See, this stock, ever since it made that low around 10,000 levels, in 2020, slowly but steadily the stock is coming up. A higher top, higher bottom formation is taking shape in the longer term chart. Also, recently a near term top of around 18,400 has been broken, and the stock is now headed higher. There is a good upside potential for this stock up to that 21,000 odd level. So look to buy the stock at current levels. 18,400 should be a stop loss, and around 21,000 can be the target. It's a good pattern to have.
All right, that is Bosch for you, but let's shift focus. Let's talk about Bajaj Finance. And why is Bajaj Finance in focus? Because of the Q4 operational update. Bajaj Finance actually saw an AUM accretion of around 16,500 crore rupees, which registered 29% growth on a year-on-year basis and 7% growth on a quarter-on-quarter basis. If you look at the core AUM and overall AUM, it grew by about 25% on a year-on-year basis. Also, their new loans book during the quarter grew by about 20% on a year-on-year basis, but on sequentially, it saw a decline of about 3%. What the numbers are suggesting that the AUM growth was actually driven by high-ticket segments. Also key to note that the growth in Q4 on AUM was expected to be around 6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But the stock right now is subdued in trade. It's actually given up most of its morning gains, approximately 3% off the day's highest point. That's Bajaj Finance for you with gains of about 1% right now.
All right, watch out for that stock in trade. Moving on then, heavyweight L&T Ashesha. It's another big order win.
Order win, the stock is soaring in trade today, nearly 3.5% higher for this particular one. The company has informed the exchanges that they've won contracts for its hydrocarbon business. Company has recently secured multiple offshore packages from a prestigious client in the Middle East. Company classifies mega orders as orders with value of over 7,000 crores. So that's the kind of order win the company has informed the exchanges about, and that is precisely the reason the stock is buzzing in trade today, 3.2% higher for L&T.
All right, Nirav, Kirloskar Brothers, how are the charts looking for this one?
See, this stock, has been consolidating for quite some time in the past, 6 odd months. But finally, we are seeing that breakout come in. Also on the longer term charts, it's a good pattern, rounding kind of a formation which is taking shape, which is generally a slow pattern, which was what is happening with Kirloskar. However, now the breakout of around 410 has come in. This stock should move up towards its resistance zone of around 490, 500 odd levels. I believe one can look to buy the stock from that target of around 500. But once that 500 is broken above, you see a very big target coming in this stock. So if you're a near-term buyer, your target should be 500. But from a medium-term to long-term perspective, I see this stock coming up above that 800, 850 odd levels, looking at the overall pattern and the volumes that have gone in. So, buy this stock, buy on every decline, and the stop loss for near term should be around 410.
Right, stop loss 410, that's Kirloskar Brothers. Moving on, lots of operational updates coming in, and we're also tracking M&M Finance. Vamakshi, in light of that.
Is in focus on the back of that Q4 number that came in. We're seeing that the company has reported a strong end to the financial year. We're seeing that in the month of March itself, disbursements rose by nearly 42% on a year-on-year basis to 5,600 crores, and this is a rise of nearly 34% on a month-on-month basis itself. Now, as far as Q4 is concerned, disbursements were up nearly 50% on a year-on-year basis, while for the whole financial year, disbursements ended strongly at 49,500 crores, up nearly 80% on a year-on-year basis. Strong disbursements resulted in gross business asset growth of nearly 7% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But not just that, it is also the asset quality that has improved for the company and is definitely stealing the show for Mahindra and Mahindra Finance. We're seeing that gross stage 3 ratio has declined by nearly 130 basis points on a quarter-on-quarter basis and 300 basis points on a year-on-year basis. Now, this has taken it possibly to an all-time low of 4.6%. Asset quality has also improved further, and the management has gone ahead and said that no additional provisions will be required, and that is the reason why the counter is in focus today.
All right, let's shift focus and let's talk about stock that hit a record high level in today's trading session. That is pre-call. Nirav, where is the stock now headed after scaling a new high today?
So, the whole chart for this stock is phenomenal. The market has come down. There are so many small cap, mid caps which have come down, but this stock has not seen any selling at all. Quite surprising. But I believe now, that all-time highs are hit and that consolidation is over for this stock. This stock can really move up, and it can move up towards that 250, 265 odd levels, and very quickly at that. So look to buy this stock for a quick 10-15% gain from current levels. You can keep a stop loss of around 215 for your longs, and that target of around 255, 260 should come.
255, 260, that's the kind of target to watch out for. Well, let's move on. Stock number 40 then. And Ashesha, why is Paytm in the news?
Is also in focus on the back of their operational update. In fact, the company reported their operational data today morning, where number of loans have largely remained steady on a month-on-month basis. As far as value of loans is concerned, it has seen an uptick of about 7.5%. It's at about 4,400 crores in the month of March. Let's also talk about gross merchandise value. Then that too has seen a solid uptick of 12.3% on a month-on-month basis. Monthly transacting users has also seen a marginal uptick of 1.1%. It stood at 9 crore users in the month of March versus 8.9 crore users in the month of February, indicating a jump of marginal 1.1%. So on the back of this numbers that have come in, the stock is in focus today, about 1% higher for Paytm.
That's Paytm for you. You also have Morgan Stanley that's come out with a note right after they came out with this operational performance, where they are having an equal weight stance in the company with a target of around 695 rupees per share, which is a significant upside from the current levels for Paytm. But let's talk about Godrej Consumer then. And Godrej Consumer Products also came out with their operational performance earlier today, where they said they're expecting to report a double-digit operating profit growth in Q4, along with a mid-single-digit volume growth at a consolidated level. This is what the company informed in an exchange filing. They've also said, like I mentioned, they're expecting to deliver double-digit value growth in rupee terms. They're saying growth trends continue to improve sequentially, and the quality of the profits is likely to see an improvement led by gross margin recovery. Also in India, they said the consumer demand trends remain steady throughout the quarter. The performance of the company's India business exceeded expectations, especially on the volume front. They've said the domestic branded business growth is very strong in volume and value growth in teens as well. While for Indonesia business, they're seeing a gradual recovery with mid-single-digit constant currency sales growth. And they've said the building blocks in Indonesia are in place to drive steady to strong performance in the next fiscal year. This is what the company informed in the exchange filing today.